Good morning and welcome to math for the week of September 21st. We are going to be doing a unit on measurement this week. So I have a whole bunch of activities. I have like 20 different little activities that you can do with them. And those are all just going to be up on my YouTube channel, and you can do them at whatever pace your child is ready to do them. One thing I wanted to remind everybody is that if you don't get to all of these activities, that's fine. What I like to think of it is that you have access to all these activities, you'll know how to do them all, and then you can just do the ones that you think work best for your child. And that way you sort of have an arsenal of different activities you can do when it comes to measurement, and then hopefully you can do some spontaneously. And then they can just be using measurement more and more. Another thing is we're using a whole different language now with them, length and width, inches versus feet versus yards. So this might be a little bit hard for them to first understand the vocabulary, but as you do more and more of the activities, it'll start to get a little clearer to them, okay? So just doing whatever activities you can get to and that you think are ones that will be engaging for your student, okay? So we're doing a whole bunch of activities right now just on length and width. The first thing I'm gonna have you do, let me talk about the materials. We have your yardstick number line, a piece of cardboard, some printer paper, a piece of construction paper, and some glue. You're going to need your rainbow tiles, you're going to need masking tape and scissors and a marker. You're going to need your tongue depressors from your sensory kit, your rubber bands from your sensory kit. You're going to need skewers, straws, Q-tips, toothpicks, popsicle sticks, and lollipop sticks. Okay, so here's what we're going to do first. You're going to take a piece of cardboard. I just took a piece from an Amazon box. You can also use a cereal box. Any kind of cardboard will do. And you're going to be using your yardstick number line. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to line up the cardboard on the table in front of you, and they are going to measure. So they're going to go all the way to the end of their cardboard, and they're going to line it up with the yardstick number line, just like this. They're going to put it flush against the yardstick, and then when you get to 12, this is the line that you're going to cut. So you're going to want to cut the cardboard about 1.5 inches. And then you're going to cut across. And then you're going to, after that, they're going to work on labeling 1/2 inch and inch with just a regular marker like this. The 1/2 inch is going to be a little fine, and then on the inch it's going to be a longer line. And then you're going to put one small one for 1/2 inch, longer one for the inches 2, 3, and so on. All right, so they are making their own ruler, and if you have one at home, that's great too, but this is a really good exercise for them. And it should look something like this when you're done, and you'll be able to use this for all of our activities. All right, so let's talk about the first measuring activity. They're going to be taking one of each of these things: lollipop stick, Q-tip, popsicle stick, toothpick. You're going to have them put these things out in front of them, one of each. And we are going to do some measuring. So we're adding all 6 items. 1, 2, 3, 4. A straw and a skewer. So they're going to put these things out in front of them, and we're going to be asking them if they can tell us which is the longest one and the shortest one, just looking. The next exercise is going to be for them to line. You can use your yardstick number line or even a skewer, and you're going to put this on this edge, and that is where the item is going to be measured from. So once they figure out which one's the longest and the shortest, they're going to line them up. Like this. Okay. So they've discovered that the toothpick has the least length and the skewer has the most. And what they're going to do then is they're going to take a piece of construction paper and they're going to glue their items onto a piece of construction paper from shortest to longest, and then they're going to label. The toothpick is 2.5 inches, so you can have them trace with the highlighter. You can highlight 2.5 inches, and they can copy and they can label. All right. So this is one of their activities. All right. So let's talk about the next activity. So what's going to happen with this one is your student is going to be measuring their hands, their feet, and their shoes. And the more people who do this activity in the family, the better. It can be a sibling, it could be mom and dad too. But basically what they're doing is starting out by outlining their hand. Their hand's going to be like this, not like this. And you're just going to go around the outside of the hand. Starting at the wrist, going all the way up. So it looks something like this. Okay, so everyone's going to do hands, everyone's going to do feet, and everyone's going to do shoes. And once they have that, we're going to see who has the longest hand, who has the widest hand. And you can use your ruler. And we always start at the bottom of the object. And we place the ruler, line it up with the bottom of the object. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7.5 inches long is my hand. And then I'm going to measure the width with my ruler. 1, 2, 3, 4 inches wide. Now we're going to use the rainbow tiles to do our measurements all the time too. You're going to use your rulers and your yardstick number lines, and you're going to be using your rainbow tiles. The cool thing about these rainbow tiles is that they're exactly 1 inch, so they can be measuring with this as well. So they're going to be measuring with a ruler. They're also going to be measuring with their rainbow tiles, and they're going to line them up. 2, 3 inches, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, and then not a whole one left, just a half of one. So that's going to be how you measure your hand with the rainbow tiles, and then you're going to do the same thing for the width. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're measuring your hands this way, you're measuring your feet this way, and then you're going to compare who has the biggest feet and hands, who has the smallest feet and hands, and you're going to label 7.5 and then by 4 inches. And you can help them highlight that, and they can label their hands and their feet and their shoes. All right, so another activity for them to do is they can measure their toys, There's stuffies, books, etc. So if I have my stuffy here, my little funky monkey, I'm going to put him straight on the table, and it looks like it would be best to use the yardstick number line for this. So again, I'm going to start at the base of the toy, line it up next to the toy, and you can show them that it ends on 22 inches. Okay, they're going to label that. And how wide is my stuffed animal? 8 inches, 22 by 8. You can also measure a car. You can measure a book. Books are nice because they're nice and straight and they're easy to measure, and you can do the book. How many inches long? 10 inches. How many inches wide? Looks like 7.5 inches. And they're going to do the same thing with their tiles. They're going to measure the length of the book using their rainbow tiles and the width of the book and labeling. Okay, so another thing that they're going to do is they're going to measure their bodies. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to measure the height of their bodies. So you're going to use your yardstick number line and you're going to use your masking tape. And you are going to have them stand up nice and tall on the wall, and you're going to help them measure. So one concept that they're going to need to learn is that when it still goes longer, you're going to have to mark it. And then they're going to have to start again. We've got 3 feet. And looks like maybe 3 feet, 4 feet, 4 feet, 2 inches maybe. You're going to put the masking tape there and you're going to date it. And then we're going to go back in a month or 2 and see how much they're taller, how much they've grown. So we can do height. We can do our arms. Starting at the armpit. How long is the arm? Starting at the armpit and going all the way. It looks like my arm is 20 inches. If I include my hand, it's 27 inches. So how long is my hand? Another subtraction problem. You can measure your leg. Starting with the low end at the bottom, and then where does your leg go? 34 inches for your leg, okay? So they're measuring their height, they're measuring their arms, and they're measuring their legs, and they're labeling. Okay, now I'm going to teach you how to make a catapult, and we're going to be measuring distance and height of an object that is on the catapult. So here's how you make your catapult. You're going to need 5 of the tongue depressors, and you're going to need about 5 or 6 of the rubber bands. So you're going to start out with 5 tongue depressors. Okay. And you've got your rubber bands. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take 3 of the tongue depressors and you're going to rubber band them together. And you're going to put the rubber bands on the 2 outside edges to hold them. So there's 1 rubber band. This is probably something you're going to have to help them with, but you can have them try and do as much as they can. So I'm putting 1 of my rubber bands here, nice and close to the edge. Putting my other rubber band here, so it's nice and tight, like this, okay? Then you're going to take your other 2 and you're going to put them on the outside, right in the middle of your other tongue depressors, your other 3 tongue depressors. And you're going to put a rubber band right on the edge here, like this. So now it looks something like this. Okay? So now you're going to put another rubber band right here on this side. You're going to scoot it really good and close so it looks something like this. Okay? And then you're just going to reinforce it with a couple more to make it stronger. So it's going to be diagonally one way and diagonally another way. So there it is. Make sure that the tongue depressor is nice and pushed all the way to the end. Okay? So there's your tongue depressor. There it is. There is your catapult. Now here's what you're going to do with your catapult. They're going to be measuring the height and distance of an object that they use with their catapult. I'm starting out with a cotton ball. So you're going to push down on the very end like this with your finger. They're going to hold the cotton ball like that, and they're going to see how high it is. So you can help them by holding up the yardstick, and they're going to try and catapult the cotton ball. How high does it go? How far did it go? Now, you're going to start with where the catapult is, and then you can measure the distance of how far it went, okay? So that is what you do. That's with the catapult. We're going to be looking at the catapult again in a different video talking about weight. But for this one, you're seeing how high an object can go and how far it can go, okay? And then they're labeling that. Okay, and then another one they can do is with their yardstick number line on a big table or on the floor. If they have a toy car, I had a toy car, don't know where it is, but basically they're starting with the toy car right on the edge of, and they're going to roll it as far as they can and see how long the car will go, okay? So you're going to help them again. If it's on the floor, it might be all the way, it might be a whole yardstick, and then it might, and you might continue on. So again, helping them to be able to know this is 1 yard, and then marking the end, and then adding however many more inches to that. Okay, that's kind of a tricky concept for them, but after a few times, I think they'll understand that, okay? All right, and then we have another one called Race to the Finish. And that one is where the kids either use dice or cards. You're taking all the face cards out and the aces. And they're going to just have the cards face down, and you're going to take turns. Everyone has the yardstick number line, and you're going to see who can make it to the end first. Now, is this a skill game? No, it's just luck. The way a lot of the card games are, it doesn't have to do with how good you are at it. It's just a game to practice using our number lines and using our yardsticks. So you might make that clear to them that this is a game of pure luck, okay? So I got 3, so I'm gonna put 3 on. And then the next person goes, and they're gonna pull a card. And whoever gets to the end first is the winner, okay? Now, one final activity for length is you're going to take a straw and you are going to mark it with, you're going to use your ruler and a straw. You're going to line up the straw right on the edge, and they're going to use a Sharpie or a ballpoint pen and mark their straw by inches. The straw is just about 10 inches, but you're going to have them mark by inches. Okay, and then once they've done that, they're going to cut however many inches, starting with the side that you started with the 1, and they're going to cut 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, etc. And then they can use these straw inches as another form of measurement. So you could be using the straws to measure a lollipop stick. How many straws does it take to make a lollipop stick? Right now we're using inches, but we're going to talk about non-standard units of measurement in our next video. But you can see that they need to line up their straws to see how long their lollipop stick is, or their popsicle stick, or whatever it is, okay? All right, so that is it for our length and our width lessons for measurement for today. All right, good luck with all those. Have fun.